There's a lot of places. There's like a lot of there's a ton of settings. The one thing I always think about Discord is like even as crazy as it is, like how cool it is that we have this all set up. There's even crazier ones, dude. Uh, yeah, they're cool.
Yep, locked. I'll
Dude,
check later.
Jenica, did you see? Look in the chat. Look at Jake's button in there.
Oh yeah, I just summed it up. Yeah.
I ordered 20. How could you not use the at what cost emoji?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That
Listen,
matches the
Linda.
button. It's good to see you.
Wait, where'd it go? Why is it gone now? Where was it at?
I put it
was
back.
the first thing that popped up.
I super put it back.
Oh, geez. There we go.
Boom.
There is the okay. Oh, it says a better way to react. Unlock with Nitro.
Oh yeah. Join the club, dude. I pay $10 a month. I should actually do, what'd be funny is to do like an at what cost and like actually break down the like $100 a month I think I spend on all these different stupid fucking subscriptions I have to pay for. Oh, I dropped the F-bomb and we're live, just a heads up. I already started recording, I already started streaming, everything's going.
Okay. All right.
Things are live. We're in the warm up period. This is the new like chill way to like just open it up. What's up, Shop Steward?
Hello.
What up?
Hey, I'm just stewarding.
It never stops, dude. 24/7 steward. I actually since the strike authorization vote, dude, I've really latched onto that. I love it. I fucking love like just letting you guide me in my store.
That's what I do.
We'll talk about that a little bit more later on, actually.
Guiding light.
We're just chilling. This is I just popped this thing live while we're like casually talking about random stuff, and then people are just like, "Oh, yeah, we're in the room, dude. We're in the room." But we're just letting people kind of trickle in if anybody's gonna come hang out. And what's up, Alexander? And
Oh, not much. Am I coming through all that?
Yep, I can hear you, sir. You're loud and clear and alive.
I'm pretty tired, but I figured I'd pop in.
I know it's late over there. Just for anybody who hasn't met Alexander yet, he is a brother from UFCW 700 in Indiana. And
oh wow.
Yeah. Check out those at what cost buttons in the chat, Alexander. Look at that. That's sick, huh? I fucking actually love that, dude. I downloaded that picture onto my watch, so that's my watch face.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nerdy. But there's no UFCW look like here. I can't rock my colors still. We'll give it a couple more minutes. Dude, you want to know what's crazy right now? Like right now. They're like they're walking the ballot box like over to like the table where the people are getting ready to count the votes and burning and all these other last vote locations.
Today's the last day, right?
Yep. Do you guys think we'll get results tonight, or do you think they'll wait until tomorrow?
Possibly tonight.
Yeah. Oh wow, I was thinking they were gonna wait till Monday.
At least for us, they always release the results the next day. But the people who are at the votes are able to say the votes at their location. So if you just go and ask them, you might be able to get a sense for how things are going to go.
Yeah. Welcome to 8. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
But we have had
sharing is not caring here. Sharing is what is it? It's not allowed.
Yeah, who cares? Like it's actually not illegal, and like the reality of the situation is that every single person in the union could have been in that room, so it is what it is. But I understand the reason why they want to keep it secret, and that's the risk they take spreading it over 3 days, is because if word gets out about things going one way or another, people can be incentivized to take action when they weren't going to before, and that benefits who? Not the union. So that's why they don't want that. But I understand. Go ahead.
How do you think it's going to go?
I think we'll probably match like what I have set my expectation to is to match what Local 5 has as a result, which is a 68% yes ratification. But what my hope is that, a rabbit gets pulled out of a hat and a lot of people decided to take action that we weren't anticipating. But we'll see. I have,
We so would you like a brief update with what's going on over here?
yeah, sure, go ahead. Just in case you have to like go to bed. So, yeah, give everybody an update on what's going on. Just a heads up for people who haven't been paying attention, and then we'll get this meeting kicked off. Alexander from UFCW 700 in Indiana is here, and they've got some interesting things going on with their contract and its ratification as well. So, yeah, go ahead, bro. Give us an update. Thank you.
So a while ago we voted no for a second time on our contract. I It was just a shade over 60% voted no for the second time. And it seems like it's kicked off a little bit of a beehive. The union's been coming to stores a lot more than they were. And Tracy, our president, held a town hall on Monday that was really brief and where he didn't seem to really be too interested in answering questions. He said essentially there's going to be a whole swarm of international reps coming. From people in my text, there's been international reps in all sorts of stores. We had a team of 4 reps come into my store today, and I talked with them for a couple of hours.
Wow. You from the international?
Uh, one was from the international, and the other ones were just from other districts. Who has been coming. Basically, it seems like every single rep the 700 can get is flying in.
Mm.
Um, they want us to vote yes, and because they're worried that the union will, so the company's going to try and claw back stuff if we keep voting no. Is at least their point. And their line was that our local has done such a poor job in preparing us, done such a poor job in educating us, and that in talking to people, many of the people they talked to didn't even know what the second contract said, uh, and that so many people are willing to be scabs that we essentially have no hope of actually being able to effectively leverage a strike threat, especially because Indiana is an open shop, quote unquote, right to work state. Uh, I think they have a little bit of a point. I think Essential Workers for Democracy has been doing great work. There's been more organization and effort towards organization than we've ever seen before. People have been very fired up about it, and international reps comments on that. But I feel like our local has been just frittering away everything for so long that we need time and effort to prepare for a proper fight, and that we weren't given it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I would say, thank you for that by the way. And I would say that like that's a hard reality to face because there's like in my mind there's a lot of intention behind allowing that to happen. And we've gone back and forth with people in union staff in our local basically regarding like who stopped participating first. But ultimately, like it's a chicken and egg situation, and it doesn't matter because here we are now, and we're moving forward. So it's been interesting for you guys to like be able to pull together and have the solidarity to vote no on a contract twice, which is like insane and extremely difficult. And then who knows what's going to happen, and that's another reality of the situation that a lot of union members face when they're going through this is that this like fog of war where we can't see we have no idea what's gonna happen. That's like there's people that do know what's gonna happen. So why isn't that information, being dispersed amongst everybody? And there's a lot of reasons to like talk about that, like the international coming in specifically right now to interact with you guys and putting the onus on your union for your union local specifically for failing you is like, their reputation's on the line when you keep like making the company look bad. Like these unions and these companies, they don't have like written agreements to work together, but they have these like unwritten understandings that like they're going to move together at an expectable pace every time. through these contracts at a predictable amount of increase, and so the company can like accurately forecast it and plan for it. Like that arrangement is there, and you know it's there because every contract throughout the entire country seems to hover around the same typical things in the same typical regions with slight variances like here and there. And you got to like understand that like on the backside of all of this, like the company, which has like every incentive for us to not succeed and not gain, you know, any financial leverage for ourselves, like through increased wages or benefits or pension, like anything that would increase the cost to them. They have to, they have a fiduciary responsibility to do everything in their power to reduce increases in costs. So they're doing like what they're always going to do, and the union is there to like backstop that. When when they're not, you lose that fight. So it's interesting to hear like them, you know, that conversation about like, I don't know if we have, you know, what it takes to stand against them. It's interesting because that's the international, like even saying that like they don't know if they have what it takes to support you guys through it, which is weird. Like that's not a union that like I'm like proud to be a part of. Like I want a more fight in my union when it comes to like this situation that you guys are dealing with Kroger specifically, which is, you know, multiples more offensive than our contract. Like our contract situation here in Local 8, like I like me personally, I like a lot of things in our contract. I think the wages need to be higher. So, like, that's a different situation than your guys's, which is, you know, you've been able to get some things in the step up, but not enough, but is causing a different type of an issue. Like yours is going to push you guys down into a poverty situation that is just unreasonable for the amount of money that Kroger makes. So there's that
Wait,
going on.
what
Go
what
ahead,
is
bro.
what is your guys' insurance premiums as a question? That's something that the international reps talk about a lot with our contract.
So I don't know all the details of it enough to speak on it. I only know for my own personal self, but we don't pay premiums for ourselves. And then I pay $50 a week for my spouse and my dependents.
So you have $0 premiums.
Personal, yeah.
See, we have $8 a week premiums for ourselves and $3 for dental, and they were talking about how exceptionally low that is.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I, I, I don't listen. I don't care what they have to say, like about everything healthcare. It shouldn't be something that I have to fight for. And the fact that you're making me feel like give up whether or not I can pay electricity to be able to get my teeth cleaned is the disgusting reality that we live in. And the fact that if like I potentially stand up against that being unfair, I might lose my house is another. Clear picture of the dire situation that we're in. So all of that is none of our faults. None of us did anything to put ourselves in this situation. We just happen to be living through it. So hopefully our union can help us find the solidarity we need to survive it. But regardless, we're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep rolling, and it's been awesome. It's actually been awesome, like watching you guys in Local 7. That's been cool. And it's been cool watching everything happen here in Local 8, just in terms of like everybody getting active, staying communicative on the Discord and in the Facebook group, which has been really cool. Facebook past and present has been fun getting on there. There's a lot of there's a lot of very angry people online, which statistically doesn't actually translate into action, which has been funny to see unfold in real time for those of you that have been, you know, getting to participate on the behind the scenes level. But without further ado, we can kick this thing off unless anybody's got anything else they want to go over before we start this thing. 1, 2, 3, go. Welcome to At What Cost. This is our bi-weekly Discord meeting. Everybody's coming together as a group to discuss things going on in our union, in our workplace, build solidarity, educate ourselves, spread knowledge to each other, come up with new ideas on how to get together and become stronger as a union, things to push for to make our union better. It's kind of what Atwacost is all about. Uh, we've been very active through this bargaining session and the strike authorization stuff, and we're wrapping it up, like if voting is officially done. Like it'd be cool to see some like Bernie people start plucking in here that are involved in counting. It'd be interesting to get those numbers now that there's no reason to keep them a secret, since nothing can be impacted at this point. But yeah, today was the final day. This is our 21st bi-weekly meeting. So people that are watching this on YouTube right now, or people that have been here for like since the beginning, like my shop steward and Mystery and Restless and Jake. Sandra's actually she's like on like silver medal status. People that have been hanging out in here for a long time. Like this is our 21st meeting that we've had, like with an agenda, which we've been doing just to get in the mindset, the idea of like a meeting structure and being able to get together on like a formal basis and have these discussions. And since the beginning, we recorded them and posted them on the Discord server so that other people could watch them after the fact. But eventually, unfortunately, after word started spreading around from union staff that there was like malfeasance and brainwashing and things going on in here, we just decided to start posting them on YouTube so that people outside the Discord server could participate. And then, in the future, if ever there's a need, the entire archive of everything that At What Cost has ever done is there on the channel for people to watch, and they can listen to us union members talk to each other about these things, and they can see for themselves and they can make their own decision. And hopefully people that are looking for a way to get more involved in their union decide to do so there, because it's been pretty cool. And Kevin made a point in the chat today about like they should just have a Discord server. And yeah, basically that's why this was created, was because that was the conversation that I was having with union staff, and they told me no. So we've made this, and here we are. And they should have. You're right. That would have been sick. And honestly, they should be doing like all of this stuff. Like that's kind of the point. Like what we're doing is what the union should be doing for us, because when we've asked them to do these things, they've told us no. And everybody that's come in contact with the union along the way has had the opportunity to experience that for themselves. And on a journey to try to help change that into something more positive, like this. Bernie took us across the home stretch. They wrapped it up. I see Tavish in here. What's up, dude? How's it going?
I have little to report, sadly. Uh,
That's great.
I just voted, though.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you made it in on time. Are there people in there counting right now? Do you know?
They finished counting, but I didn't hear anything.
That went fast, dude.
Huh?
I said that went fast. That was a fast count.
Yeah. They mentioned being pretty sure the contract was going to pass.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
The contract was garbage.
An
Yeah.
outside opinion says the contract was garbage.
We heard it on the inside. We agree. Not everybody, it was the entire thing wasn't garbage, but the wage tables were definitely a trash bin adjacent for sure. Oh yeah, Bernie took us across the home stretch. They're pretty sure it's gonna pass means they're not 100%. I'm a gambler. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. Remember that we had a strike authorization vote, and Bernie was basically denied reasonable access. They were going to have to commute an hour to get to the voting location for the strike authorization. And I wanted to talk at the top of this meeting. I know it's not the top because we kind of talked a bit, but at the top, I wanted to make sure that they got recognition for everything they did to organize and get loud and get a petition together and send a message and a signal to the union that they wanted that they wanted to participate and they wanted
I
to
did
have.
make sure to thank Mike again for doing that. He said he pushed really hard.
He didn't, but you can. I'm sure he appreciates the bootlick. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I'm jaded. I'm jaded. I'm jaded. But
Yep.
I will say victory but the victory goes to you guys because I don't care. The effort that he put into it means that the people above him are fucking awful and evil. Why would it take massive effort to get you guys a voting location? That's my point. But you guys not saying anything would have led to not having a voting location this time. And you guys, anybody who wanted to participate, got to go to Geppetto's and vote. So you guys deserve the credit for all of that. If Mike had to arm wrestle Jacques Laval to get it for you, then and he won, then congratulations to him. I'm glad he went to the table for you. Um, but I think the credit goes to you guys specifically. You put in the work, you got loud, you organized. There are a lot of you that are actively participating in the conversation, and that has had a positive impact on making our union more accessible to everybody. So I just wanted to make sure you got recognized for that. Um, we will see what's going on with these results as soon as they get announced. Everybody's got their phones, so if anybody gets a text message or an update, like feel free to jump in and share it. Um, but that would be cool for us to find out tonight. If not, we'll know as soon as we know. On social media, real quick, we'll just crank through it. On Discord, we gained 6 members, we're up to 179. Instagram got 9 members, up to 163. That's killing it. Facebook, 8 members, 124. A lot of people have been coming in from the Safeway past and present, I've noticed, and that's been cool. It's been cool to see like a bunch of people. Like I see Sandra and I see Lori and Gina and Jenica like interacting over there like quite a bit now that I have my sneaky wife side account. It's been cool to get on Facebook and interact. I didn't realize that there was so many angry old people over there. So that's been fun to get them all riled up and see what's going on. They have very, very strong opinions, but in all honesty, it doesn't. I don't know that it's translating into action. So it will be cool to have a place for people who feel strongly about things like not being able to see into bargaining, to have a place to like voice that opinion where that opinion, open bargaining specifically, is supported by at what cost as a democratic member-driven union objective. Facebook, that was
It would
it.
feel a lot more democratic if they didn't push so fucking hard for you to vote yes.
I know, dude, it's weird, and we'll talk about that when we get down to our contract section, we'll talk about that specifically, but their pivot away from the mail-in ballot was a direct response to what they were seeing going on social media and Facebook, and I don't know if they have anybody in this Discord server, but I would assume that they do. And I think they, obviously also watch us on the YouTube channel when it's live there or on videos on there. I've had things that have been said during meetings get like directly responded to by my rep, which is really funny. So I don't think he watches it, but I think that like the message trickles through. But yeah, I agree with you 1,000% on that. Wrapping up on this, YouTube, 144 subscribers, up 7. And then TikTok is flat. Just a heads up, TikTok basically was this account that existed that my daughter had. And one day she got a wild hair up her ass after being at one of the at what cost meetings and was just like, I'm making a TikTok. And she like put up a couple videos. She has no interest in doing that and she's so over like all this bull. So if anybody likes TikTok, if anybody wants to take over the TikTok account, it is like up for grabs, and I will keep that anyone want to take this over sign on there until somebody does. It's a good place for me to remind everybody that like you hear me on like the YouTube channel and like doing these meetings. I would absolutely love for anybody to like run a meeting and do any of this stuff. It's basically just because like I think that it's necessary and I'm willing to do it. So this space is totally open for anybody to participate in and to express their opinion in, and nobody is in charge of or running at what cost. It's basically an open, fully open group of union members that are trying to help make their union stronger and better, basically through participating and educating themselves, and then trying to take that out into the shop floor in their stores and spread it around to other people. And we come up against forces of evil from all directions, and we face them doubly and fight onward. There is a link. The link is right here in the agenda. I'll go ahead and throw it in the chat for anybody that doesn't have it. It's also available in the contact channel in the Discord. If you ever need it easily, you can just go to contact and find that link there. But that link takes a person to all of these social media places. So, depending on who the person is, it's actually been great because you can just send it to almost anybody that works in your store, and there's a chance that they use one of those social media platforms. Um, but I would just, obviously, TikTok looks like a graveyard because it is until someone takes it over. And I can't. I'm not doing it. There's no way. I do not have the ability to understand that platform like as a medium, and I will do nothing of benefit for us as a group if I interact with that page. That will cost us members at a rapid rate. Uh, Moving on real quick, Local 5. Just a heads up, and it's something that like we need to think about, and we need to kind of be aware of, and decide how we want to express and address this. But Local 5 had their contract vote wrapped up on Sunday, so they finished on Sunday. They started on Thursday at 8 a.m. and it wrapped up on Sunday at 8 p.m. And members could vote anytime during that window from Thursday morning to Sunday night. They had a meeting the day before. They had an AM meeting and a PM meeting. Both of those meetings were on Zoom, and members could join either one of those meetings and ask questions. And then I believe they got to hear about the entire tentative agreement that was went over by the union president and ask questions. So that was the way that they moved through that process. Uh, their contract was ratified by 68% to the yes, and that got announced like I think it was like 8:24 when the text came out from them, which I thought was pretty crazy. I wrote that down and made note of that because it was so quick, right? Like 24 minutes after an entire local voted, which our local is 15,000 people. So they had the results out in 24 minutes, and part of the reason that they were able to do that is because they use this app called Election Buddy, and that app allowed every member to log in securely to an account that was ID verified. They had to go through a verification process in the app that gave information to the local that the local then verified it was them as the member. And then once they do that, they're able to log in into the app during these situations. They did it during the strike authorization vote also, but they can log into the app and then they can cast their vote. That is pretty seamless. And I would really like to see the percentage of participants as a total number of union members of Local 5 compared to Local 8 in the very obvious two different ways that they executed their election, right? Like I would like to know how many members out of 100 in each of those locals actually participated in voting. Because one is very easy to access and one is, I'm not saying impossible to access, but less easy to access. And the structure of it makes for many more opportunities for people to be unable to access it. Whether like basically if they're available on their voting day, and then if not, if they're willing to travel to a distant location to participate. And to hear from like our union staff, things like, we want to make sure only the people that care vote. That sends a very strong message that I think is worth listening to and deciding on for yourselves if you think that's cool or not. Real quickly, for the people that were paying attention to what was going on in Local 5, I would be interested in hearing what anybody has to say about electronic voting, like an app-based voting like that, where uh, it goes the way that I described it, and what people think the benefits of that might be, or what some of the downsides might be to that. And if people would prefer that specifically over the model that we had, where you had to go to a physical location to cast your vote and like basically walk through the gauntlet of reps to cast your vote versus being able to like do it in the privacy of your own home uh, without people knowing basically what was going on there. Anybody got any ideas on that?
I would much rather do it that way. I mean, as an electronic vote, so that I could just do it whenever I wanted to and not have to listen to a union rep or hear their spiel when I hit the door.
It felt like at Geppetto's, I either had to sit across the room or like brought in my arm so nobody could see what I was voting in order to not be judged.
Anybody else have any ideas or anything they want to share? Jenica says she agrees with that. Um, I did hear people say things like it is nice to have somebody available to ask questions to if you have questions, and I would agree with that. I can see that as a positive reason of with being able to do it like with a rep there. I'm sure that with
No,
uh,
you just get their side of what you should vote. That's not exactly the way it should go. So, um, that we need to be able to have all those questions answered long before vote day, long before we walk in there, long before it becomes a ride or die situation. This is it. We should be able to have all that info long before then.
I agree, more info, more time. And I think as a consensus, at least nobody said anything in disagreement with electronic voting or app-based voting being better. We'll talk about this when we move on to ours, but Election Buddy, just know that it is a secure voting platform. In fact, I was listening in on Local 700's town hall, and it came up on their town hall too as something that they were going to look forward to in the future. I will just say, like as a reminder to everybody out there, what's up, Eeyore? It's good to see you, Lynette. I will say as a reminder to everybody out there, like don't forget, like there's 4 Ds, right? And one of them is delay. And what they're very, very, very good at doing is telling you that they'll look into something and get back to you. And that creates like this infinite time of not actually addressing anything. And really through just like the action, like through the war of attrition, they will outlast you and get you to get so exhausted about caring that you will give up. So that's like an actual tactic that is happening. So when and because so when you hear me like kind of like vomit audibly when they're like, "Oh yeah, he said he was going to work on that for me." Like that's pretty cool. I just think back to the like 100 times that I've been burned by that, and don't want other people to get burned by it too. So just recognize delay, 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 delay. One of the 4 Ds is any time that something is like doesn't have I'll get back to you in 24 hours attached to it is probably just pushing it off into hopefully infinity in their minds. So that's something that stood out to me. Sorry for going off on a tangent when Local 700 mentioned that they were going to check out Election Buddy, but just know that that's a secure platform that other locals are using, and it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool for us to be able to use that also. Moving on to our contract ratification. Again, everybody's placed their votes. I would love to know how many total people voted per area. It would be nice to know the total number of people out of 15,000 that voted. I know the union is absolutely terrified of that number getting out for a couple of reasons. One, if people knew how small a group of people are literally deciding the fate of the entire union membership, they would probably participate. And participation is the greatest fear of a union that wants to maintain control because they can't control 15,000 people. Nobody can. 15,000 people that decide to take control themselves. That's the only way that works. Congratulations on your promotion. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm sorry that you won't be making the meetings, but I'm glad you made this one and you know how to get to them on YouTube. You should make sure to comment on them in the YouTube because it's cool when people have conversations, side conversations there. So if you do end up watching them, just make sure to add your voice there. You can still be a part of this, Lynette. I know you have management responsibilities, but you can still be a part of this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shop. We're just gonna call a taxi and come back because too much stuff for me to get. Yeah.
She's out of here. She's getting a taxi. I muted you. Anyways, regarding the numbers of people, it would be cool to know. And honestly, if it's something that listen, like let's just think about that for a second. If it's something that you would be embarrassed by, why wouldn't you do something to fix it? Why wouldn't you be doing as everything you could to make sure everybody participated? Whenever we take just like half a second, like just go one level beyond like the excuse, the quick response. The easy thing to do is just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, they're working on it," and move on. Just think about it for 1 second longer, and it's like, dude, the whole thing falls apart. Nobody participates, and that works to their benefit. We need more people to participate. I do want to, and I did this last time. I recognized the shop stewards and the strike captains, but shout out again to the shop stewards for helping keeping everybody informed through all this. Gina on the Facebook page has been phenomenal in making sure everybody has like daily information. Did you get a text message every day from the union reminding you that it was your day to vote? Did you hear from anybody coming from the day to vote? All I ever heard from anybody, I was on vacation, but all I heard was that you have to vote yes, you have to vote yes, you have to vote yes, you have to vote yes. No reminder about what time it was, no reminder about the location, but thank you. I saw pictures. Kevin put the uh, information right above the time clock, so everybody that came and punched in at our store like saw immediately where the locations were. I saw stacks of the contracts on the break room table. All the wage tables were printed out. Like in those break rooms, it sucks that I was on vacation because in those break rooms, I would have loved to have been part of. Like that's where the conversations happen. Like all of this organizing that we're doing, all of this meeting that we're doing, like here in this Discord server, like this is, you see how hard it is to get people in here. But everybody is in the break room and everybody's talking about this kind of stuff. So that's the place to have these like really meaningful conversations. Before the vote was the time to break down to everybody that we were going to be making less than our Save Mart sisters and brothers, and they were going to get there twice as fast as us. So my shop steward, Kevin, who's a multi-purpose clerk, can go to Save Mart and top out faster and make more money. So he's now incentivized to leave Safeway. That sucks. That's not a contract that I think that we should be very proud of. Uh, it's kind of crazy to think that the best contract they'd ever seen meant that in the last 8 months, because that Save Mart contract was ratified in January, and it has higher wages and way less steps and way less step hours by half. You top out in 5,000 hours in the Save Mart contract, and you top out higher than what our contract is going to be. So those kind of conversations had before we voted, they have a strong impact and they incentivize people to participate. We talk on here all the time. Facebook page, people are talking all the time. But those are people that are active and are probably already going to participate. And so it's not as impactful as the conversations that you guys have with your coworkers and then I have with my coworkers when we're like out there working and like side by side, like you're feeling the same struggle at the same time, looking at the same schedule and going, man, this sucks. gonna be hard to pay the bills this week. But it was badass to have people in At What Cost that were involved in the voting process, like the counting process, I mean, and the like securing of the ballots and the counting of the ballots and the certification of the count and all that stuff. Um, there's a lot of secrecy around it, and so I understand, why the people that got to be involved were being very protective with that information, and I've respected it. I haven't, any information that I've gotten, I haven't given out, even though everybody understands and knows that on principle, I disagree with that. I am not trying to, I would never fucking rat on one of my brothers or sisters or just if they told me something and said that, this, I don't want this to be said, that's fine. But it is interesting to get to hear from all the different areas and all the different spaces that like people need to participate. People need to participate. I think a lot of people in this group probably voted. Did anybody that's hanging out in here that was part of that bargaining unit not vote? And if you did vote, some people already kind of talked about their experience. But outside of the actual like interacting with the union staff, do you guys feel like the TA was communicated with enough time? Do you think there's things that the UFCW could do specifically to improve their communication around that? I personally, I know Gina, you said you wanted more time to go over the TA. I felt like, and I probably nerded out on it way too hard, but I felt like that, and because we collectively like got together on it and were discussing it, that we were able to break it down like pretty quickly and like had a pretty firm idea. I did at least. Um, so that made me feel like we had enough time. But you saying that you needed more time or wanted more time, I can totally
Well,
see that too. What do you think's a reasonable amount of time before you have to vote?
well, part of the thing that I found very concerning was the fact that they were able to change things online
Yeah.
after we had already got it.
Yeah.
So, if they were able to go in and change that wage table, there were other things they could. So once they had done that, I had to go over it again and I had to reread it again to make sure in my own mind that, oh, maybe they changed this or maybe they didn't like the wording of that. And
Without
then
notifying us is the important part.
yeah,
You know
it
what's
just,
that's you know what's crazy, and I actually thank you for bringing that up because I didn't like properly give you and Jenica credit for that, but like I didn't think that wasn't part of my experience because you guys put in the work to discover that and then brought that to the group, which is another great example of why this collective power is so dominating if we can get it in a bottle and use it in the right direction because I just got that really useful information and in a millisecond it became part of the reason that I wasn't going to vote yes on this contract. And thank you to you guys for finding that and then putting in the work, but then my apologies for not even like actually recognizing the layer of stress that added on to like you trying to make a decision that's going to impact the next 3 years of your life and not knowing if the only document you have to make that decision is accurate or not. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but if you tried to use the link to go to the contract, after the first day of voting started, it's dead. You can't access it anymore. So if you didn't have it printed out or you didn't download it to a PDF, you weren't able to access that document once voting started. And I thought that was an issue too. Anybody else have anything they wanted to add about the voting process in specific and the communication? I did think that the Jacques Laval Instagram, he was competing against Kevin for Reels of the Week, which is funny because he was putting in all of his work. Like Jacques was like fucking green screening it and suited up, like really, standing there tall and proud. And then Kevin would just like go in and like punch a cantaloupe like into the sink and just
Bro.
dominate, bro. Just dominate, dude.
Solidarity, baby.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Did anybody have any issues? Do you think the communication was enough? Not enough? I feel like it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I was actually very impressed with the communication. Mike was really on top of like messaging me. I mean, he even sent me a message at 3 a.m. letting me know what was going on. So I was happy with that.
Hey, Kevin, I set this alarm so that I could wake up and send you this message. I just wanted to let you know contract's been ratified.
Yeah.
I think with the amount of communication that we got with this contract and our strike vote, we got more out of that little teeny block than we got in the last 3 years. Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
nice if we would get that all the time?
If you guys were placing bets, do you think that's going to continue, or do you think it's going to go back to how it was?
I think
Cricket?
it's going to continue.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't.
So there's a reality that and this is not secret information. So Jacques Laval he's in full campaign mode, so he's fully expecting there to be challengers to his throne in the next election. So I would not be surprised if we saw over the course of the next year. What's up, Jason? It's good to see you, bro. Whoop whoop whoop. Oh, it's up, dude. Hey, the contract's back. If you want to check it out now that voting's closed, go right ahead. I would not be surprised if over the next year and a half we see things like our shop stewards get formal training, communication increase potentially through some sort of a social media platform. I would not be surprised if they started to move in some of these directions that they felt like they could control from top to bottom to give the illusion of considering the potential for change. So that would not
And
surprise me at all. But
been begging
go ahead.
for 2 years and haven't seen it yet.
Right, but there is like and that's the but, and the reason why I would say that it's possible is because like there's a reality. There's a reality that if there are people that decide that they would like to challenge any of these positions, like these are six-figure positions that these people hold. So you're talking to you're saying that you're going to take somebody's job basically that is making over $100,000 a year. And that the response to that is not, okay, let's have a fair fight. That's not how that plays out. So, like I said, it wouldn't shock me if there was an active move in a direction like that. Um, they would be, it would be it would be to their benefit, and it would be much harder for anybody to say anything negative about things that were positive. So, doing that versus like, drowning
Oh,
people is better PR.
one thing, one thing I want to mention from reading my own bylaws, and I don't know if you guys share these bylaws, but when we're nominating a slate, a single petition form can have nominees from multiple people. So if you get together, say 7 people, and you want to all run for different offices, you can put all of your names on the same petition and just get all the signatures on that one petition instead of having to circulate multiple petitions. So it makes it a lot easier if a bunch of people can work together to get themselves all elected, at least in our local.
Same thing for us too. We can also run a slate on the same petition. And that will be fun stuff to start talking about after we take a little mini vacation and relax and breathe and catch our breath and have fun doing bowling and basketball and building solidarity on the other side of a very stressful contract campaign. So with that, I think it's cool. Unless anybody's got anything else that they want to add to the contract conversation, I think it's time that we move on to something fun. And I think this is a good time. And like I say it like out there to the ether as if it's something that like other people need to hear and listen to, but the reality of the situation is that like I probably need to hear and listen to it uh, more than most. Kathleen, I'll never forget from UFCW 770 said it to me one time, and it was something along the lines of like unionism and like being in a union, it needs to be fun. And sometimes like I get my head too far up my own ass, like trying to like stay on top of everything that's going on and like, you know, keep all these plates spinning and like, you know, do fucking pumping at what cost. Sorry for my language throughout this, by the way. I'm in the garage. Uh, Pumping all this like stuff and just like this obviously very intense situation with the contract and the strike authorization, like maintaining like a face, maintaining positive attitude, like while at the same time dealing with all the same like stresses that we're all dealing with as we try to like do the math on if we're gonna die or not. Uh,
Yeah,
is
I had to take a break from engaging for a little bit because I overdid it a little bit, but I'm trying to
it's a
do what I
good
can, what I can handle.
it's a good time to just kind of remind everybody that like it's okay. Like if you need to take some time like this for the reality of the situation is that this is like an eternal fight. Like not only do we have
Mhm.
to fight this fight, but we have to teach our kids and the next generation to fight this fight because this fight
Pace
never
ourselves.
ends. So yeah, you know, when it comes to things like contracts time and like you know, strike authorization vote time, like there's no escaping the intensity of that moment. But now we're in between like that and what will be our next collective action, which will be, you know, trying to inspire and find people that would like to become leaders in our union to run for local office. That project basically begins and ends in the December of 2026. So, goose fraba, dude. Everybody can take a deep breath. Rayleigh's is about to get fucking hosed like the Oh, my apologies for my language throughout this. I, for some reason, have forgotten my professionalism tonight. Rayleigh's is about to get hosed on their contract like the rest of us, and then they can take a deep breath too. Ah. But thank you for everybody, to everybody for staying locked in through all that, and thank you to Kathleen for the reminder that unionism is to be fun. Jason in the YouTube chat, I see you there, brother. I see you. Becca's Cafe, that's coming up third Sunday, 4 days. This Sunday, if you're hearing this before the 17th, from 1:30 to 3 p.m. I'm hoping somebody told Becca's Cafe, because I didn't, and if that was
I
supposed,
did.
okay.
They know
Whew.
we're coming.
Whew, whew. All right, cool. We should go. It would be awesome to help support them there. Again, anytime we can meet up at a local business, that's a huge part of all this. Like, we just went through the moment when we were going to need the community support. So the more we can do as UFCW members, especially like proudly labeling ourselves as, hey, we're the UFCW members that work at the Safeway you shop at, that matters when it comes to, you know, this moment where we had to look them in the eye and ask them not to shop there and help us fight this fight, right? So we got to see that in action. We got to see, you know, the reason why that's so important in action. And so now we have to remember that as we continue to do these fun monthly activities, let's try to lock in with local businesses and make sure that we're there and that we're adding value to their business when we're there, and you know, building those networks and those relationships with the working people of our communities so that we can continue to strengthen these bonds. It's just going to be chill hanging out there. Probably have the results of this election or of this contract ratification vote by then, I would assume. And I plan to, I don't know if this is going to be recorded or not, so be there if you want to be there. But I plan to just kind of start talking about like some of my plans that I've been thinking about and want to bounce off, like start talking to you guys about regarding the local election specifically, and things like Alexander just mentioned, the potential for a slate. And since I brought them up, we'll just, you know, bring it up here. But like the our bylaws have a maximum cap on the number of local executive officers that can be on staff, and that cap is 50%. So half of our officers in our executive board are staff members. They're not rank and file store members. Anybody, anybody that is a dues paying member and has been for 12 months can run for office. And 100% of the executive board could be rank and file members. I believe we currently have 20 vice presidents. I'll have to count on the LM2 and C. But that's the reason why it's been so difficult for us as members who've been trying to participate to make any changes because we're dealing with an executive board that's been appointed by their staff members. So they've been appointed by Jacques Laval, and they are beholden to Jacques Laval. So they're not interested in what we have to say, and they control a majority of the decision-making power in the executive board. And not only that, some of the executive board, rank and file executive board members are like spouses and family members of former staffers and retired international staff, et cetera, et cetera. So there's all kinds of stuff going on there, but that's besides the point because it's, I think, pointing to corruption and being like corruption is getting old. There could be 20 rank and file members on the executive board. So you can work your job and be on the executive board of the union. People that don't think that they have experience or that they're not prepared or whatever, you all of that stuff is things that can be totally addressed and totally taken care of. Every person that's in that position currently had their first year in that position. There are people all around us. There are labor organizers, there are labor unions, there are labor leaders, there are people that are willing to help in situations like this. There are local unions that would love that offer all of their resources and information regarding all of this stuff online. The Teamsters for a Democratic Union, Labor Notes, they all have a whole boatload of resources available for people that are interested in running for and holding local office positions. So don't think for one reason that there's any barrier to you as a person who has potentially good ideas and positive things to contribute to the direction we want to take our union. There's no reason that you can't do that. You're good, no worries. There's no reason that you can't do that. So I would totally love the idea of everybody starting to think about that and thinking about if that's something that they're interested in. And if they're not interested in it, I want you to like start thinking about people in your store that you've heard talking about this kind of stuff that might be interested in it. Because the reality of the situation is that the union's not going to do anything to help us learn about this process or participate in this process. So we're going to have to do it like we've done everything else from the outside, breaking through the front door. And we're totally prepared to do that. So if people are interested, at Becca's Cafe on the 17th. So just, whether or not that's recorded or not, I don't know. I don't care. It's up to everybody else if they want to. We'll start talking about some of that stuff. And I've been having like personal conversations just so we're all on the same page with people that have been talking about wanting to do that and kind of letting them know that like, hey, just so we're all on the same page, it's about to be go time. What's up, Lori? It's good to see you. I see you in the YouTube. I'm glad you can make it. And thank you for everything you're doing. I've seen you interacting with people on the Facebook and helping spread information and communicate. And that's something that's like very much missing in our store. So thank you for everything that you've been doing also. And yeah, I appreciate it. I'm happy to do all of this. This is fun, like Kathleen swears.
It's coming up to about midnight for me, so I'm heading out. But you have a
Good
good night.
night. Good night, brother. Thank you for coming. Oh, that's
Good
funny.
night.
Everybody say a prayer in the chat for Lynette. Congratulations, she's a front end manager. That's awesome. Bonus eligible position, sweet. Moving on to the agenda, and I think that we'll crack this out real quick and then move on. But mapping our stores, we'll talk about it more at our next meeting in depth. I'm gonna gloss over it right now, but it's the idea of starting like basically a social list of everybody in your store and collecting it on a spreadsheet. I actually wanted to like touch base with Myra on this, like off to the side, and see if there's any way that she can help me get it all organized and help execute it. But it's a spreadsheet that you use to build a social web of everybody in your store, getting their name, contact information, department, whether or not they're interested in becoming more involved in their union, if they're a shop steward, yes or no, all these things that can help you like understand who the people in the stores are. And we have people all over the place in different stores, so we can start like picking like who the mappers are going to be and kind of moving through this project. But that's something that we'll do on the other side of our little rest. So I'm not going to dive into it like right now. We'll put that off, but it is going to be something that's extremely important for people that are actively interested in running for local office. Our stores will need to be mapped. We'll need to have that information to communicate effectively and efficiently with everybody that's out there and to help try to find each other and make sure we're all on the same page if we do decide to run on a slate and move together on like a unified platform. So mapping is something that we will circle back on the other side of Goose Frog Bob breather time. Conclusion, that was basically it. The conclusion was take a break and take a breath. There was a lot of people that are listening right now and that are in the chat right now that were very active organizers in their store, like true full on could get salaried pay from the SEIU. I see you, Adam. Could get salary pay as an organizer for the work that you did, keeping your members in your store, your brothers and sisters informed on everything that was going on through this. And that's the power of everything that we're trying to build. And so recognize yourself for that. A lot of you guys were champions in transparent unionism. I appreciate the people that were willing to, you know, speak to me so that I could like try to think through everything that was going on with the most information I could get my hands on. It sucks that we don't have a more transparent union, but it's something that I'm committed to continuing to work towards. And hopefully, that's something that we all can agree to is important for our union. So we'll all continue to start pushing for that, not only in our own ways, but also, through the people that are currently there and asking that they continue to be more open. We talked a lot about open bargaining through this process, and it's something that we're going to, get really, really clear and really, really beating the drum on is the concept of open bargaining. It's the first time that we really explored the concept in depth as a group. We've talked about it like a lot, kind of on a surface level, but this is the first time going through the negotiations for ourselves and really seeing what not being allowed in the bargaining room does in terms of our ability to A, be involved in this process that impacts our lives in a serious way, but B, just to even like have any idea what's going on. The complete information blackout as far as like what was right in front of our faces was really stressful and really hard to deal with. And that's one reason why I think open bargaining needs to be just standard principle is if you have high anxiety and you can't live with like that, you should be allowed to sit in the room so you don't, lose sleep. It sucked. So we went deep on that and talked about that a lot, and that's something I think is going to be really important as we move into potential election territory. Is that concept of open bargaining, and basically it would force local 8 to take a position on that. And I haven't talked to a single member that doesn't think that open bargaining is the right way to move forward. So they would either have to, you know, adopt open bargaining, which would be fantastic, or stand against it and make their case on the other side. Um, just keep hanging out with everybody, keep participating, keep building solidarity. Shout out to Jake and Alex. They had to dip out, but the flyers that they put together for the meat department out down in Sacramento, they've been out there like flyering cars and stuff and spreading the at what cost message down in Sacramento, and that's been super awesome to see. I can see in the members list like where the invites come from. So if you create a Discord invite and somebody uses it, I can tell where they came from, and that's kind of how I try to watch like as people come in, try to see who they're where they're coming from to try to catch rats as they're sneaking in. But I do want to give a shout out to Marisa out in Sacramento. She's been doing some recruiting and has gotten, I think, like at least 5 or 6 people in here. So we are starting to gain a presence down in Sacramento, and that's been awesome. We need to get into more and more and more. Yeah, we do need iVote stickers. We need to get into more and more and more stores. I think there's union members that are looking for a voice. There was a lot of frustrated people on Facebook that, I knew were there, but until I started interacting with them, didn't really understand how and pissed off a lot of them are. And in need of accurate information, and a place to find it and discuss it that isn't screaming into the void of that past and present cesspool. Union bylaws have election language in them, so I'll post them at some point in the next couple days. But good to start checking out the election language in the bylaws if you're looking for something to read. Otherwise, take a breather, take a rest. At What Cost has been nonstop through this entire process. There's a lot of engines that are working against us, and it felt like we had to kind of like crank it up and stand up against them. And I think that we did it in a pretty strong way, regardless of whether this contract, gets ratified or not. I think that we did a really, really good job explaining the reasons why we believed what we believed, whatever it was we believed. And I think a lot of people voted because of interactions that they had with members like you that are out there beating the drum about how important it is to participate. And so while everybody's taking a rest, obviously this Discord, this union hall is 24/7, so it's going. There will be people in there keeping the lights on, I'm sure. And then we'll get back to it and we'll start building towards the next thing. Everybody can quit if they want to, but I would say at what cost? Heyo! That's a wrap for me. Does anybody have anything they want to add before we stop the stream and end the recording? It's like 110 degrees in this garage. I'm soaking wet. Thank you to the people that came through in the YouTube chat. That's cool. I got some new internet going, and it was, I think, running beautifully this whole time on the stream. If that's not true, let me know. All right. If nobody has anything to add, that's a wrap on meeting 21 of At What Cost. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks here, and we'll see hopefully everybody at Becca's Cafe on the 17th. Check you guys next time. Have a good night.